What's up, everybody? This is your boy Serb here. I want to thank you for tuning in to my Rags to Riches challenge, where I sell everything I start with and drop all my money to bring me down to $0. Want to see the full version? Follow the link in the description below. And if you want to follow along the campaign, hit that subscribe button, get those notifications, and see as I release new episodes every week. Now, in this first part of this multi-part series, I will cover the first 3 tasks. First, Recon, Cash Retrieval, and Meds Wanted. For first Recon, we're going to be seeing 3 locations. We're going to be going to the gas station on the north side of town. We're going to see the convenience store in the middle eastern port of the town. And we'll be going to the demolished building on the southwest part of town. For cash retrieval, we have 2 locations to go to. One located in the lumber yard, on the western part of the lumber yard in a separate office, as well as in the warehouse on the southeastern part of the town. For Meds Wanted, we're going to be going to a compound on the eastern part of the town where there is a water tower marking its location. We'll go inside a building and pick up a 2x2 package to bring back to Lab Rat and deliver it to complete this task. Now, this was a busy server and it took me a little bit to be able to finally get a chopper to be able to head out. But once I did get on the chopper, I was able to land successfully. And one of the things you'll notice that I do is as I'm landing, I proceed towards the road in order to have an overwatch of the checkpoint that is located there. The reason for this is because there are 1 to 2 enemies that can spawn in that location. And with me heading to the 3rd landing zone for the starter town, Nantaven, for Mithras, I did not want to get attacked from the side where I had less protection. Once at the 3rd landing zone, I began to head south, and from there, as you can see me marking on this location, that is the first of the 3 locations to locate for first Recon. The reason I did this is because, as you can see, I'm on an elevated position in order to have overwatch of the gas station. Now, I was lucky enough that someone had come through there previously and had cleared it out. From there, I moved to the lumberyard where my first cash retrieval location was, in the office building on the side of the lumberyard. And you can see me attacking enemies just located on the outside of that office building. Once I cleared them out, this is the building that I was looking for, the office building. The door was already open, so I went in and was able to drop off my first tracker for the cash retrieval mission in the lumberyard. From there, I moved over to the east and was able to locate the compound with the water tower. Entering from the back, I was able to have a better angle of attack in order to ambush a couple of the enemies early on, and as well be able to clear out a lot of the area. Now, it doesn't mean that I was entirely safe. As you can see here, I heard the click of an AK switching from either auto to semi-auto or vice versa, and was able to take him out. At that point, I was able to mop up the last of the enemies in the area, and was very lucky for my Kevlar as me and this gentleman traded shots. Once finally cleared out of any enemies so that I would not get surprised, I then moved in to get the objective. As you see, I threw a grenade there because there was someone behind the wall, and grenades don't always work, but I was lucky enough that it did this time. So at that point, I moved into the objective building, as you see here, through the right door to the shelves in the back in order to pick up my 2x2 medical supplies container. From there, I was able to move south and west along the road to enter in the back of the convenience store and get that location marked off for my first Recon. As you'll see, there are typically a few enemies that you need to deal with on the outside of the convenience store, as well as potentially those who may try and come behind you in the back of the convenience store. So keeping your head on a swivel is very important, and they are not afraid to push in because, as you will see, I'm reloading my mags, getting ready to move back to the front of the convenience store, and one had actually pushed inside the store there. So again, keeping your head on a swivel is important. Not only that, there are some enemies that are a little further away from the construction zone as well as from the compound to the left out of the front of the convenience store, where they will begin to push, and you just need to be aware of that. From there, I headed across the street and south towards the back of the warehouse, where I could round around the warehouse to the side that had the second cash retrieval box for me to place the marker. After placing that marker, I headed out of the building and began my trek southwest to head towards the demolished building. For those of you who are not as aware, the demolished building is located just southwest of the restaurant in the location that I marked. And there are a few different ways that you can get to this building. With me playing as a solo player, I opted for more of a slower, stealthier approach, coming around the backside and collecting the demolished building. And this is what it would look like when you get there. You have a couple of pieces of hardcover that you can use to attack any of the enemies that are on the main road. And as you'll see, there are some blurs from taking fire. I was able to get inside this building and then slowly and methodically eliminate the enemies that were in the street, both on the hill as well as those around, and you'll see they started to really get into my location there. Now you will notice that as I'm attacking these enemies, I'm using pieces of hardcover and utilizing the grenades I brought with me in order to help funnel the enemies into a more concentrated area, making it easier for me to be able to take them out. And one of the other things that you'll notice is that I have taken shots here and there where I had light bleeds and light wounds. One thing to note is that while you can use medical supplies like a tourniquet and a bandage to heal those light wounds and light bleeds, it is not necessary, as any light wounds and bleeds will heal on their own. You'll see here in a second, I trade some shots with this enemy on the hill where I do have a light bleed and presumably a light wound, but I did not let it stop me from continuing to engage targets as they approached my location. Again, utilizing this doorway, I was able to create a funnel from where they would have had a harder time locating me and allowing me to take them out without being potentially surrounded. Like you see here, I start to have multiple enemies approach me at the same time. Now, another thing to note when it comes to fighting enemies in Le Mans is that currently the enemies are placeholders, and they will be replaced with something later on. The devs have not given us an indication as to what that will look like exactly, but as of right now, they are truly bullet sponges. You can hit them in vital organs, which should be one taps, and sometimes they will not go down and will require additional shots. But then again, sometimes you will also shoot them, and if they are wounded enough, they will drop like a sack of potatoes. Now, in this part, I am continuing to engage enemies instead of just making a break for the LZ in order for me to exfil. And primarily, this is because the AI have been found to continue to chase and engage as you lead towards different LZs, depending on how close they are. It does seem like there is a line as to how far they will engage you outside of their main area. But again, instead of making a break for the LZ here, I opted to engage some more enemies in order to clear them out and ensure that I would not have gotten engaged on my way to the LZ. Now, I was able to eliminate enemies and get to the LZ and safely extract, as you will see here in a second. But guys, I wanted to just go ahead and say, if you liked this content and you want to continue to see more in this series, give me a follow, get that subscribe button, and get the notifications, as more episodes will come out weekly. And until next time, have a great day.